all four of you ladies.
But I thought, how nice. I can't wait to meet my other sister-in-laws. I've never met any of them. I've heard of Janet, though, through her books.
Shocking, ain't they?
Not in the best taste.
But my goodness, all that loving.
What an atrocious looking house.
Think so, huh? Has 23 rooms, all just like this one.
Looks like a mausoleum.
Mrs. Van Delft says it's full of memories.
It would drive me to drink.
That reminds me, I should have offered you some wine, but it slipped my mind.
After all, I'm a Van Delft and I'm due from the capital.
Don't mix no cocktails, but I have some sherry.
Beggars can't be choosers.
How true.
What's so funny?
Well, just me thinking about you being a beggar with all this money around. I hear the madams can't even count all she's got. And not one son to leave it to. All dead. Just like the madams outlived them, huh?
Exactly. Though I've never met her. What's your name?
Mina, ma'am.
I've never met her, Mina. What's she like?
Oh yeah, I forgot. None of her sons ever brought their wives here. Strange, isn't it?
Not very. She never extended a welcome to us.
Well, she's a dear old lady. Maybe I wouldn't say so being the same age. But you'd think she's ancient. Still has that twinkle though in her eye. And she's clever. Had to be to put up with all she's been through.
At least she's been through it in comfort. What's her trouble?
4 worthless sons, that's what. I've watched the man grow old with nothing to pin her future to. It's mighty depressing for her.
She has someone to leave it to, Mina. Don't you worry.
But who?
I have the background and the name to carry on the family tradition.
True, you have the name, but only by marriage. Ain't got the blood.
I'm quite positive that's good enough for any family.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
So the venerable old lady sent the same telegram to all 4 of us, did she?
Yes, ma'am. I sent it myself on the telephone. Request the pleasure of your company at Van Delft Acres a week Wednesday for my 70th birthday, and from the formal, I can't remember the rest.
Formal announcement of the disposition of the money and property. Placed as follows: Victoria Van Delft.
You memorized it pretty well. Nice of us in the transportation, wasn't it? Thinks of everything.
What are the others like?
The other daughter-in-laws?
Tell me about them. The more information I have, the better my chances.
You talk in circles. Chances of what?
Never mind. What are they like?
Well, there's Mr. Oscar's wife, Janet. She's from New York, so no transportation worries there. Just a local train fare.
I know about her, but what about Ashley's wife?
Don't know a thing about her, but she's from Brooklyn. That's New York, too.
I know.
Always think it's a separate city myself. Then there's the princess.
Josiah's wife?
Princess Elsa de something or other. You know that's a lot.
They don't sound like much.
That's what the man's afraid of. She said this to me this morning. I have to leave it to one of them, Mina. Those were her exact words. Can I get you some more sherry?
Sure. Good important sherry's a rarity in my life.
So, what do you do?
I'm a scientist working on psychiatric research at the moment.
I'll have to make a living. Here's another one. I'm so excited.
I'm ecstatic.
Haven't had so many visitors here since the master died in 29. Weren't the crash either. He sold out just before. Can't beat the Van Delfts.
Oh, I bet you can.
Yes?
I'm Mrs. Van Delft. Where do I go?
This way.
What a room! Looks like Grand Central Station. Oh! Charmed to meet you. Ashley spoke so often of you. His dear mother. And mine, too. How he loved you. Carried your picture in his wallet till the day he passed over.
I'm not Victoria Van Delft, so relax.
What?
She's 70 and I'm better preserved than that.
Sorry.
Mrs. Van Delft, meet Mrs. Van Delft.
Charmed.
Another of them?
Beau's wife. There are 4 telegrams out and 2 more wives expected, so sit down and pour some sherry.
I don't think we're going to get along very well.
Rivals rarely do.
What are we fighting over?
Millions and millions, or are you here for the first time out of mother-in-law devotion?
Puts it right on the line, don't she?
She's a scientist.
I think I will have that drink.
I'll get it for you. It's my job.
You don't have to wait on me. Yet. Just sherry?
Only sherry in the afternoon. Obviously, you aren't used to the customs of society.
Get her. I'm a Van Delft. quite a blow, wasn't it? Or did your Bosley tell you before you got married?
He neglected to inform me of his disinheritance, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, Ashley too. But he was cute. Right after breakfast, the day after the wedding, of course, he says to me, Pet, give me a quarter. I gotta get some cigarettes. Quarter, I says, ain't you got change of $1 million? He didn't have change, period. No kick. Why drink this anyway?
I bet Mina will make you some tea.
Only use it as a chaser. Say, I never introduced myself. My name's Petula. Mother got it from reading lively love stories in the hospital. But my friends call me Pet.
Really?
You better call me Petula. This is it. What's the deal here anyway?
You'll just have to wait a minute for the other two to arrive.
No chance of seeing her first then? I have a little birthday something for her.
No, the other lady tried that already.
Oh, you did. Won't do you any good. The dough always goes to the oldest son. So Ashley's widow gets all the estate. That's the way they always do it in the books.
This is life, honey, not fiction.
Usually I get along with everyone, but you rub me the wrong way on the washing board, sister.
That a man Delph should come to this?
Just what I was thinking myself.
I think we no longer have any further need to communicate.
Going to send smoke signals, are we?
You're a laugh, a great big guffaw. When I get my hands on that dough, I won't even send you a Christmas card.
So, what are you ladies going to do with all that money? That is, whichever of you gets it.
That's my business.
Spend it!
I ain't never had so much dough I couldn't spend it. All my life, I longed for the better things. You know, when I go into a restaurant, I want to order the pizza pie with the anchovy sauce instead of tomato. When I go to the movies, I want to sit in the loges. And ever since I can remember, I've wanted to move out near Coney Island and get an apartment with an elevator. Just push the button, get in, close the door, and up you go.
You're talking in small terms. You could never handle an estate.
But what about Mrs. Vandell? Maybe she has some ideas of how the money should be used.
She's had it long enough. I guess her old man was always rich, huh?
He was never poor. His father got a hold of some land in the game of chance. When the jacks over tens. The land was out in California and ended up to be just covered in gold.
Nothing I like more.
So then he took that money and stuck it into Texas, and they found oil. Then there was the market.
Market basket?
The stock market. He bought things and sold them, and somehow it just kept growing.
Just imagine.
Relax, ladies. Still another to go.
If there's so much dough, why don't the old gal just split it between the four of us? I ain't no hog.
No great estate could be divided and dissipated. Look at the Rockefellers, the Fords. One must keep it in a lump.
So one of us will get our lumps. Get it? Lumps? What a wet blanket.
I know. Come in. Join the tribe.
Oh, good afternoon.
I'll make introductions. Mrs. Van Delft? Meet Mrs. Van Delft.
Pleased.
How do you do?
Well, all the bird watchers waiting for the old crocodile.
You're here for the purely social visit, I suppose.
She's the author.
Of what?
Sins of Pauline. She's Janet Jordan.
Really? You wrote Sins of Pauline and you're my sister-in-law?
I'm afraid so.
How excited. Can I have your autograph?
Sure.
Could you write to Pet? That's what my friends call me.
Then you're Ashley's wife.
Yeah.
And since you don't look like a princess, you must be Bobby's wife, Virginia.
That's right. You can give back the pencil. I don't want your autograph.
She's a sweet one.
Thanks. She's awful. A scientist, too.
I'm Mina.
And you must be the old family retainer.
Retainer? Yes. As for old, it's a matter of opinion.
So I'll just wait here or what?
Might as well.
Whenever Josiah's wife's name gets here, then the grand dame will come down to make her announcement.
Quite a gathering. 4 sisters-in-laws who I've never met, and a mother-in-law who I've seen none of them. Make a good book.
Yeah, you could put men in it.
The girl knows what sells.
I would think it would feel awful funny sitting here and maybe get millions.
Even after she makes the announcement, who knows how long she'll live? Maybe years.
There's stairs. Old women are always falling down stairs and dying. You read about it in the papers all the time.
The architects are to speed things up a bit.
Yeah! You're making fun of me. I don't like this being here with an author and a scientist. You know all about characters and things, and you seem to look right into my deepest thoughts.
I could do that and still be short-sighted.
That was yeah. I don't get it.
Never mind.
Looks like the characters they fit in a small bed that box right there is the present for your mother-in-law.
I have one too.
I suppose you came unarmed?
I have something. We can all play the same game.
Goody.
Here's the last. I haven't had so much fun seeing Mrs. Mandel with the orphans out for a picnic.
At least we're giving her a good time.
Yeah, gets a kick out of everything. That's the way to live. Up or down, I always get my kicks. And speaking of that, you didn't get sherry,
No thanks.
but it's free.
All the same, I don't want any.
Maybe Mrs. Van Delft would give you the money instead.
Mother! Who are all these peoples? Well, in order, there's Mrs. Van Delft. What? Mrs. Van Delft, another, and Mrs. Van Delft.
What is this? All these Van Delfts.
We're all your sister-in-laws. So draw up a chair, sit down, and with any luck, you'll see your mother-in-law, whom you love oh so dearly.
Like my own mother. In case you don't know me, I am the Princess Elsa de Kronstoy.
Not a Van Delft?
Of course, but that was only by marriage. When I get a divorce, to the name I say poof, and start all over with the Kronstoy. The greatest name in all Austrian nobility.
A real princess. Can I have your autograph?
I'm sorry, my little one, but I must not. The name of the Kronstoy must not be lowered by writing it in books.
Well, Janet Jordan did, that one there, and she's a lot more famous than any de Kronstein or whatever.
Ah, yes, the little writer of books on the scene. You must be Bowsley's wife, and you, of course, are Ashley's mistake.
If there was any mistakes made, it was by me.
Can we get Mrs. Van Delft down now?
Sorry, I completely forgot I was having so much fun.
Well, I'm not, so how about it?
Now, please be nice to her. She's a dear lady.
Of course, don't you worry.
Can I leave you all alone? I don't want to come back and find 4 knives and 4 different backs.
It will only be figurative.
I hope so.
So finally we make the acquaintance. Why don't the rest of you make the grand gesture and leave? It will save you all great embarrassment. I am the only one with the name and the position to carry on the, how do you say, family heritage.
You'd only squander the money.
And what would you do with it, kiddo?
I intend to put the money into an institute for psychiatric research. It will be used for the advancements of mankind, as it should be.
You sound like my first novel.
And you don't need the dough. You're so rich with movie rights and royalties and things. It's not even fair for you to be here.
I'm having a wonderful time. Thanks.
Speaking of you, pet, we'll all chip in and buy you a loge seat to the Brooklyn Albee, so relax.
Careful, sister. You're grating me.
Why don't you go back to Evans's Field and leave the civilized people here alone?
Well,
All these squabbling. If I were in the old country in the grand old days, I'd but lift my hand and you'd all be sent to the mines.
you look like you never left the mine. As
Is
far
this what you're up here?
Mrs. Van Delft is here.
My daughters, how nice of you to come.
Shouldn't they come? You sent them in tickets.
Mina, please. This is a day of rejoicing. Remember, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Mother.
Sit down, please. Mina, some sherry for me.
You think you ought?
Sherry, Mina. Now, isn't this pleasant? Here we all are, strangers yet related. Now, let me see if I can place you. You are obviously Josiah's wife, Elsa.
I knew you would recognize me. We have the same breeding, the same background.
Possibly. And you are Virginia Bosley's choice, am I right?
Yes, Mother. I have a little something here for you. It's just a small reminder.
How dear of you. I wonder what it is. A birthday cake with happy birthday mother on it. How touching. Will you take that to the kitchen, please?
But I don't want to miss anything.
You can hurry. Now, you, of course, are Petula, Ashley's wife for 3 days, wasn't it? Or maybe 4.
4 days and 17 hours. I have something too. Here.
Why, I'm getting more presents than I've had on my birthday before. Just what I needed, a photograph of Ashley.
I thought you might like it, and I don't have any more use for it. I'm married again. It's Petula Murphy now.
I have something too. I did not grab it. I just wanted you to have it from my very bosom. This is an old family heirloom. It has been in the Kronskoy family for generations. I give it to you from one great family to another.
Thank you, my dear.
You have welcome.
And last of all, Janet, Oscar's wife.
That's right.
I was always so glad he married an author. I named him after one, you know, Oscar Wilde's.
He had the dissipation, but not the talent.
No present for your poor old mother-in-law?
Oh, I have something.
What did I miss?
One photograph of Ashley, one pin of the Kronskoys, and now something from Jen.
What?
Just this.
Thank you. Why, it's money. I really don't need it.
I know, but when I'm asked to a birthday party, I pay my own passage. Now there's no debts on either side.
Good for you.
Anyone can see that. Pretty clever.
Money! It is an insult. Why in my country?
Back to the mine.
Ugh!
This is the only honest thing I've gotten. Well, let's see. One birthday cake made by, what did the box say, Nina?
Acme Bakery?
One old photograph and one family heirloom. Why do you suppose the Kronskoys ever had their heirlooms made in Japan?
Well, my great-grandfather, he went to the Orient on a trip. Yes, that is it, a trip.
Well, that's over. Now we have a lot to discuss, don't we, Mina?
Yes, ma'am. I am so glad I gave up my day off for this.
Mother, I feel I should tell you something. We have all been discussing your very generous offer to give the money to us, one of us, after well, in years to come.
Yes.
If you give it to me, I intend to build an institute for psychiatric research. It will be used for the advancement of mankind, and because I am fully equipped scientist, and it will be named in your loving memory the Victoria Van Delft Institute.
Well, that's very sweet of you, my dear. But as a scientist, you are really not fully equipped. That is, if you mean mentally. I've done some investigating, and you were never even graduated from high school. You work as a receptionist in the scientist's office. Am I right, dear?
Well, I've never...
I'm right. You met Bosley when he was a patient at your office. In fact, as I recall, they were studying him. A good name had he, and you latched on him. But no money and soon divorce. A sordid chapter from your life.
I knew it at once. A diamond digger. It's gold digger. Yes, that is it.
You're not much better, Elsa. If I'm not mistaken, you met Josiah at the gaming tables on the Riviera. He was winning, you weren't. So he made the big investment in courting you. He married you for your money, and you married him for his. I would have loved to have been there when it was time to write the first check.
My little Josie, how can you speak of him that way? He was my life. I shall never find another man like him.
I'm sure you can.
How am I doing, Nina?
Beautifully. Keep going. Now, this one.
Me?
Yes, poor Petula, you're the dumb one.
I ain't dumb. So I'm not smart, but I ain't dumb.
Ashley married you despite the family, I'm afraid. He tried to blackmail me into giving him money he thought was rightly his, but it didn't work. You were only the first of his schemes. You should have seen what he threatened to marry next. She had a neon G-string, I believe.
An artist. Huh.
4 sons had I, not one of them had any spunk. They weren't worthy of the name or estate of the Van Delfts. It's strange what money can do to people. Some who are born into it know how to act with it and use it, and others just dissipate their lives away. It takes courage to wear money right. You have to be a strong individual. My boys weren't. I disinherited them, yes, but it was only to test them, to see what they were really made of. They were as thin as tissue paper, just as transparent.
Poor little tykes. I feel sorry for him, though.
But Janet, we've forgotten you.
Nothing to forget. I met Oscar on a cruise. Not that I have the money to go gambling through the West Indies in that point of my career, but I won a contest and that was a prize.
You mean one of those soap things?
That's right. I like white soaps because it's 25 words or less. It was a nice suite on the best cruise ship. Oscar had taken the rest of his savings and invested them to find a rich wife. I apparently seemed to fit the bill because he thought I'd pay my own way. It was a quick shipboard love affair. If the moon hadn't been so big, I might not have been so small. We got married, found the truth about each other, and I went to work.
Until Oscar died. The only one of my sons to die an undivorced man. Quite an achievement. But your book, my dear, I did like that.
Did you read it?
Of course, from cover to cover. And my, what a story. Sounded so much like my grandmother, I wondered if you hadn't got the idea from Oscar.
He did tell me about her. It was the only constructive thing he did for me.
So here we are now, 4 sons dead and 4 daughters living, and a choice to make. Which shall it be? Oh, which shall it be?
Quickly, tell us, what of your mind said to you? Which of us?
Well, now, Nita,
Yeah, this is the time.
Well, who?
I haven't the faintest idea.
What do you mean?
You see, I have no money at all. Oh, maybe $300 or $400, but nothing of much interest.
In stocks, you mean investments?
Goodness, I wouldn't have the courage to invest in anything.
What did you do with it all? Burn it?
I never had any.
What is this? Let's get this straight.
You see, I am not Victoria Van Delft.
You're not?
This is a joke.
Then who are you?
I don't get it.
Ladies, it's true. She's not Victoria Van Delft. I am.
A maid?
What constitutes a domestic? Is it the costume? The bearing? What? The money, I guess.
What are you talking about?
It's very simple. I'm Victoria Van Delft. I've never met any of you, nor you me. So I became Mina, and Mina took over the guise of your hostess. That way I was able to see what my sons had married. Of course, my decision was made a lot easier.
Of all the dirty...
Sisters, we've been outguessed.
You mean we've been saying all those things in front of the maid, but it wasn't?
It is the end. I will never begin to understand the American way of life. Everyone is someone who they shouldn't be, and maids are millionairesses. Poof!
Who wins? Or rather, who gets the money?
It's not a game, Virginia. First, all share, Mina?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't get used to this. It's a crime.
I thought I was rather clever for an old lady. How else would I have gotten to see you all in your natural habitat, as it were? Behaving before the maidens you never would have before me. But one good thing did come of it. I know I won't have to give my estate to charity. One of you is worthy. Princess, we might as well start with you. Marrying for the money never works. Same with you, Virginia. To say nothing of the instance that never would have materialized. Petula, you're just not smart enough. You're sweet and unhampered, but by social stricture. You'd marry the first fortune hunter and squander it all, if Mr. Murphy doesn't get it first. That leaves Janet, the honest one among you.
Me?
Yes, dear. You made an impetuous mistake in marrying Oscar, which you saw almost immediately. But you stayed married to him, even went to work and made something of yourself. You also returned your ticket to me. That's the best thing that's happened since Lincoln trudged through the snow to give back those few pennies.
But she doesn't need any money.
Another reason. She has an ample income and therefore will know how to handle more. My estate will be in safe hands. Except that, of course, I'm going to leave a little inheritance to Mina.
But you'll outlive me.
Can't tell.
I am not going to stay here and be insulted any longer. I shall set sail immediately for Europe, where you could trust all society. Everyone is poor.
Wait a minute. I'll split a taxi with you. We could use the money we'll save.
But I have a taxi waiting. I exchanged my ticket for one on the bus. So I splurged on a taxi from the station. Next to the lodges, taxis are my greatest luxury.
Come on then, let's get out of here.
Mrs. Vandell, can I have your autograph?
Come on, Tula, into your taxi.
But I want the autograph.
Come on.
I might be able to exchange it for a Debbie Parker.
Well, dear, let's sit down and talk.
How can I? I'm speechless.
Then I'll talk. You might as well sit to me, Mina. I thought you looked rather good relaxing. You played your part to the hill. Except that bit about get me some sherry. Didn't have to go quite that far.
I thought it was just like you.
Now, Janet, how about you move out here and start another book? Me and Mina could do some company. If you thought my grandmother was something, you could write a trilogy about my great-grandmother Hepzibah Vandell.
Shoot.
And that's exactly what she did. Shot 12 men while riding across a desert schooner. But that was nothing compared to the men on the trip. Oh, she had spunk. They tell stories about how she landed in San Francisco without a cent to her name, and in 3 years' time she owned half the town. This is how she did it. First, she took the 5 stones off the riverbank and picked them up and walked